Today, I want to go over some things that I believe will impact every single one of you. And, as I was thinking about these are things I haven't trained on before. But I want to start by prefacing this that when I talk about these are things that I've already listened to myself. In other words, I've already looked at myself in the mirror and I've said to myself, you know, as a leader, you got to do these things, right? I've said to myself, JT, are you doing this? Have you done this? What are you doing with your time? What are you doing with your day? What's your purpose? All of these different things, I've already put myself through this ringer, okay? So as I get started, we're going to be quick. I'm going to open to you guys for some feedback, but I want to go over something again. Like I told you, I've never done this before, okay? But I want everyone to have a great perspective on life and what you're doing in your ACN business, okay? So you guys know that, we learn the things that we learn, customers, building a team, right? Promoting events, becoming a leader. These are things that, as an executive team leader and above, we do. And you guys have heard this before. The company's the same, the services are the same, compensation's the same. But the only difference is you. Okay. And, we've heard these things before. But here's some things I want everyone to focus on today. Now, everyone sees these positions. Everybody can see my screen. Yes or yes? Everybody can see? Okay. So we got the new IBO, CQ, executive team leader, regional coordinator, regional director, and of course, RVP and above. But what if ACN was a job? You know how in jobs, like we talk about, well, what's your duty as a manager? And you know how they have the job description, or when we're doing a resume, we're like, well, what's your job description? What do you do? Okay. Well, I'm going to break that down for you guys today, so you can have a very clear expectation of what it is you should be doing with your ACN business, if this was a job, right? So let's start with new IBOs. New IBOs, their only job is to get CQ done and to make a list and invite. That's the only job a new IBO should have. If you're teaching a new IBO other things, you are overwhelming them. Everybody got that? Everybody agree with that? By thumbs up. All right, perfect. Now let's talk about customer qualified. The job description of a CQ is, you invite, just like everybody else, you invite, you do PBZs, but your job in your first 30 days should be go ETL, right? That should be your main focus as a customer qualified rep. That's within your first 30 days, right? Executive team leader, you got a little bit more duties, all right? If this was a job, you invite, you have some PBZs, right, Miss Joy, right? Some PBZs. She had some PBZs this weekend. You should get customers, of course, right? Those are the two things that we do. We get customers, we get customer getters. You should be able to do some level of presenting. I'm not saying you should be super great. Some ETLs are better. By the way, I want to preface this by saying some of these duties, some of you are already doing, even you may be doing RVP duties, some of you RDs, but that's a good sign. But this is just in general. Executive team leader, you see, you have a little bit more of assisting trainings, right? Maybe you assist new IBOs and CQs. Those should be your main focuses, your new IBOs, CQ, and start promoting. You should have some level of promoting, all right? And your next job is to go RC. All right, now, regional coordinator, let's talk about that. When you're a regional coordinator, of course, you're doing the same thing as ETL, right? You're getting paid more, but you now should know how to present and close. You should also be able to Do some level of training, right? You should be able to launch new IBOs, get them started, get them onboarded. You should be able to track IBOs at that level. Use your tracker. Everybody know what the tracker is, right? By show of hands. Everybody know what a tracker is? Okay. That paper tracker, you should be able to do that. You should be able to assist new IBOs, CQs, and executive team leaders. You should be able to have some level of promoting events at regional coordinator. You should be able to promote. You should assist at events, right? Helping out. You should be able to do coaching calls. And of course, your main focus at regional coordinator is going regional director. All right. Now, let's talk about regional director job duties, if this was a job. Regional director. Now, some of you, I understand, you may be doing these positions at, even part-time, right? Spare time. So just keep that in mind. This is more of even if it's at spare time, part-time, these are things that you should be focusing on as well. Now, regional director, of course, you're doing the same thing, right? Inviting, getting customers, presenting, closing, training, being able to launch a new IBO. But as you can see, there's some other things. You should be able to track IBOs, but not only track IBOs, you should track your business. That's very key. You should be able to assist new IBOs, CQs, ETLs, and regional coordinators. Now, I want to open it up to you guys really quickly. Why does it say RCs? Does anybody understand when you're a regional director, you're focused on helping the RCs? I may have trained this before on that part, but I want to open it up. Does anybody want to share, if you're a regional director, why your job is to focus on the RCs, even though you may have an RC under you that may be doing things? Anybody want to share on that? Why should you be focused as an RD on RCs? Anybody?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Because RCs are your new leaders and they are, it focuses on duplication. And so that there is, there's a new layer of people going RD, which ultimately will help them, go RVP. So it's about duplication.
Yeah.
This is not a business where you do everything yourself. You do serve everybody, but
Absolutely.
in order to really have the freedom and the leverage, and most importantly, if you teach it to the RCs and you focus on them, they're able to also learn how to teach others, and it's just layers and layers of duplication, which is the
Absolutely.
business.
Yeah, no, great. That's a great answer, and that's the right answer. And let me give you a real life scenario. If Jennifer is a ETL, right? Jennifer, you're an ETL. Miss Joy, let's say Miss Joy is under Jennifer in her organization. Now, Miss Joy is, let's say she's ETL. So Jennifer working with Miss Joy is great, right? But at the same time, is Jennifer earning a cab when Miss Joy gets someone qualified? I see Jennifer shaking her head. She knows. So that is the RC's job, to dive in, help that ETL, help Jennifer's team, while Jennifer focuses on what? New IBOs, CQs. Does that make sense, everybody? So it's the same thing with the regional director. A regional director will dive in and help the regional coordinator assist, like Ms. Charlene is saying. But guess what? When regional coordinator has a regional coordinator under them, they're not earning as much money. But guess what? The regional director does. So the regional director dives in, gives you some leverage, gives you some time to work on other people so you can build your business. Does that make sense to everybody? I want to make sure you guys are getting that. Okay, perfect. Because this is how you build a business for success, and everybody works as a team. Now, of course, you, as a regional director, you promote events, you have some facilitation, you facilitate some events as a regional director. host events. You maybe even carry on some expenses. I'm going to talk about that more in a second. We all know that these events, these live events, sometimes there's not, you have to pitch in a little bit more. I'm just giving you guys real life. All right. You're going to do coaching calls. And as a regional director, you should be focusing on going RVP. All right. Now let's go to regional vice president. Regional vice president, right? Same thing. Get customers, get customer getters, recruit, invite, but the main job as a regional vice president, as you can see, that's different, is sorting for leaders, right? As a regional vice president, you must sort fast for leaders. You're doing the same thing, presenting, closing, training, all of these different things. But now you have to take ownership of these events. These live events, as Mr. Douglas was talking about, these are live events, guys, that make that, you incur some cost. Maybe you're paying for banners. Maybe you're helping out and spending more money. And that's okay because everyone wins. But just know as an RVP, sometimes you have to spend a little bit more money. But that's okay because the RVP makes more money, right? And you formulate trainings and you have coaching calls and you develop leadership. Now, formulating trainings may be like, how you are going to formulate a leadership like this, right? How do you develop your leaders? Maybe there's an advanced customer training. Maybe there's a personal development. Maybe there's, like I'm going to get to pretty soon, I'm working on a curriculum for Bible reading. These are things that as a regional vice president and senior vice president, you're going to want to learn how to do. All right. So with that being said, everybody got this. Everybody take a screenshot of this. Is there anything anyone have any questions on this?
I was going to ask if we can take a screenshot.
Oh, you can. Absolutely. In fact, I hope you got to take a screenshot.
It's a lot to write while I'm holding TV.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, there we go. Perfect.
All right. And this is important, guys, because a lot of times what will happen is you'll focus on things that is not really your key description of your job if this was a job, right? And so you should be focusing on things. And again, and I know some of you may be saying, well, maybe I don't have somebody at this position to help me and this and that. Well, you're already an RVP. Congratulations. You're already an RD. Congratulations. So that's a great thing, but understand these are the things that you should be focusing on. So any questions on that before we move forward? Anybody got any questions?
I think that's very helpful because it kind of formulates what our job description should be at each level, while also being flexible and helping in other areas as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you for that.
Absolutely. There's more.
For RVP, it says sort for leaders.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that mean as an ETL, I should not be sorting for leaders?
No. Remember, Doug, remember what I said. You may be doing some of these things already, and that's okay. That's okay. You're already preparing. Some of you may be doing more of this even at an ETL, even as a CQ. You may be doing more than the RC is doing. But we're just saying, generally speaking, in the most scenarios, this is what you should be focusing on.
Well, and I'm guessing the most experience you have as an RVP, the more easier it is to sort for leaders versus when we're an ETL.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because you're new in the business. You still have your
emotions. We're not capable, but
emotions are attached. All these things, guys, we know that, right? When you get in the business, we're more attached to our friends and family and people that quit, or we all know that. Okay. So an RVP has been through all of that stuff. So again, that's the job of an RVP, and you should be, learning to do that, or, that's mindset training and all that. So
I like this.
But go ahead.
When I look in the mirror, an RVP is what I see.
Absolutely.
And I wanted to say really quickly, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I like that you did this that way, because that's, if we're talking to the average person, right, in the sense, right, not saying anything wrong with them, but the average person that has like coming from the corporate or the job world, that's how their mind work already. So it makes it easier for them to transition now because they're like, oh, that's the description. That's my job description. Because they're used to that type of language or that way already.
Absolutely.
So I like that idea.
Absolutely. And I'm just sharing this, guys. Again, this is more internal. This is why leaderships are important. This is why, you know, coachings are important, because these are things that, you know, from my perspective, I'm just teaching you guys from a leadership perspective. This is how you see it, right? This is not suddenly set in stone. We're just saying if ACN was a job, what would be those requirements at that job? That's all we're saying. So, by the way, there's a little extra thing I want to throw in there. Basic is attend all trainings. That should be that shouldn't even be a question.
No,
you should be attend.
JT.
Yeah. I just want to throw that out there. You know, that's a basic. If you're not attending all trainings, well, you know, I mean, none of this works. The system doesn't work, right? So this is, again, there's a training like today, right? If you don't attend it, the people that didn't attend it, they don't get this. So they didn't learn something. You see what I'm saying? So again, basic trainings are key. So, okay, moving on. Let's talk about activity versus production. See, activity is things that, you know, things that we want to do and that maybe they're important, but not that important, okay? And then there's productivity. Now, what are those things? Activity is things like making copies, sitting at Starbucks, hanging out with people, you know, attending events with no guests, right? Driving, it doesn't make us money. Surfing, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, training, making a list. Though important, that doesn't make you the money. I remember when I was making a list when I first started, I was making a list and I made 100 name lists. And then I stopped at 100 names when I really could have did more. Well, here's what happened. Through the years, I would hit a stagnant, you know, hit a wall in my business. And then I would keep making another list and making another list. And I would spend 3 days making a list. That's not going to get it done, right? We can all agree. 3 days of making a list. I used to do this stuff. Trust me. I used to do this stuff, you know, game planning, catching up with friends, creating documents and materials. I'm guilty of that, but I do that because as an RVP, you know, I want to make the experience better, but that doesn't make any money. Productivity is things like signing up a customer, signing up an IBO. Remember, we concentrate on those things that make us money. You know, presenting the business. You know, Doug was talking about this last week. I just want to show the plan. I'm going to show this many people a week. Well, that's what makes Doug money, right? Peaking people, getting new numbers, you know, inviting people, promoting events. These are the things that make you money. That's going to bring you the production. So make sure you focus on productivity more than the activity. Does that, everybody understand that by show? Everybody got it with that? Perfect. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. Now, let's get to something that I believe will be a breakthrough for some of you. When you first signed up in ACN, you all had a why, yes or yes, right? You all were like, listen, you guys know my why by now. You probably could say my why even better than me at this point. You all know that. And I do that on purpose because I want accountability from all of you. Matter of fact, Doug, I'm not too high to just because I'm an RVP, just to not get checked. Does that make sense? I want you guys to check me. JT, aren't you supposed to be doing this for your family, your future family, your mom? That's my why, guys. So I tell you that so I can hold myself accountable. I'm the same as you. So how many hours a week, when you first started ACN, how many hours a week did you commit to working ACN to accomplish your why? Or what did you commit to? Anybody want to speak on that? Anybody want to share?
3.
Okay, you said 3. All right.
I mean, I started low.
That's okay. No. And by the
I'm
way,
being honest.
by
at the
the way, here's what I want to share with you all on this. This is not what you did. I'm not talking about what you did. I'm talking about what you said when we launched you, and you said, I'm committed to performing this because my why is too big. I have to do this many hours a week. Not what you did. So does anybody want to share? What did you say? How many hours a week did you say, I'm going to do this business?
Not
Anybody
enough.
want to Not enough. Anybody else want to share?
I didn't have that perspective at the time.
Okay.
I wasn't that
That's okay.
coherent about my commitment.
5
Okay.
hours.
5 hours. Okay. That's good. Anybody else want to share?
10
Ms.
hours,
Bynum?
2 hours a
I
day,
was
Monday through Friday.
Got it. Perfect.
when I
Anybody else?
started, I never talked about committing to any number of hours. I
Mm,
just did it as, yeah.
yeah. No, good.
My
Got
my
it.
up my
That's
upline
probably why I'm not seeing that much results.
my upline said I could do this in whatever, she used the word nooks and crannies, whatever nooks and crannies you have in your schedule. And
Okay.
that's as far as that conversation went.
Okay. No,
Well,
no,
when I
and
when I
that's
started, yeah, when I
go
started
ahead.
the business, I was actually broke and unemployed at the time, so I had all the time in the world. But I like Ms. Faustina, there wasn't really a conversation. I was asked how many hours could I put in, but I don't think I remember if I even said anything. I may have said something to sound good, right? Maybe like 10 hours, 20 hours, whatever, but it never actually went that way.
Yeah.
That's why I was being honest with 3.
Yes.
I mean,
Any,
and did I
yeah.
even do 3? Probably at the beginning?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Well, and you know what? That's why I brought this up. That's probably, again, this is a real teaching moment for all of us, guys, because when you get a new IBO in the business, you should ask these questions like, how many hours a week are you? Because remember, and I'm gonna go, actually, let me hold off on that because I'm gonna share why in a minute. Anybody else want to share what they committed to in hours?
Well, when I first started, like Mr. Cruz said and Postina, I didn't really had a definite time. I'm retired, so I didn't really I have all the time in the world to do anything. But it was consuming my whole day, my
Yeah.
whole week. And I was stressed out and I'm getting sicker. So
Yeah.
then I started to think maybe I'm doing this too much or I'm doing this wrong, but I didn't have any mentoring then. So
Yeah.
nobody was telling me, nobody
Yeah.
was telling me you're not supposed to do all of this or you're supposed to do this. I just went to IBO back office and see what I can find there. That's what I did. And I found the meetings that Mr. Uh, the co-founder, Mike,
Yeah.
he had these meetings every day, PBC.
Yeah.
So I went in there.
Yeah.
That's why I said I don't have any time
Yeah.
or any schedule to go to because I don't
Yeah.
know how, and I didn't know how to divide my time. I didn't know how
Yeah.
to do that, but it's different now. But that was the
Yeah.
beginning.
Yeah, and Ms. Joy, this is all good stuff because again, one of the things is being a good mentor. And when you have a good mentor that you want guidance on, you want a direction, you want a plan, you want a system, you want it to be simple. That's what a mentor is supposed to do. And that's why we're going over these things, because I believe every single person on this call today who has ears to hear and listens, you guys are going to be incredible leaders. Some of you already are, of course, you're at that level, but I promise you, if you think about these things, we're bringing these up because these are things that new people are thinking, trust me, and they want your direction. And if we went through those things, we know how to tweak it when a new person comes in and we serve them. Does that make sense? So these are all good things, guys. These are great because the feedback is great. I want everyone to really do that. But if we were saying, ACN is a job, just going back to the job conversation, if we're saying ACN was a job, how many hours is considered part-time? Anybody want to answer that? If you had another part-time job, how many hours would that? 32.
In California, that's the legality. At 33 hours, the employer has to provide insurance. So that's 32 is considered part-time.
Awesome. And these are part-time guys. It could be 15 hours, right? Can we all agree? It could be 20 hours a week. That could all be part-time. What's considered spare time? Well, we said it, 3 hours.
5 hours.
Maybe 5 hours, right? When I first started, I was working this business 5 hours a week because I was working 80 hours with insurance stuff. You guys know that. How many times have I said that story? I get tired of it, but anyway, praise God for ACN. It got me out of that. But that's spare time. So with that being said, Miss Christina, Mr. Lamar, Mr. Daryl Taylor, Miss Faustina, Miss Jessica, how do we really spend our 168 hours a week? How do we spend our 168 hours that we have? Remember, I looked at this. Trust me, I pray about these trainings before I get on here because I looked at it and I say, ooh, JT, ugh. Yeah, I'm tripping. JT tripping. Well, let's just see. I'm going to bring up some categories here. And you guys can calculate for yourselves. But let's say you're sleeping. You're sleeping 8 hours a week, 8 hours a day, which I know some of you don't. But let's just say you do. That's 56 hours a week. Your family time. Your family time is 35 hours a week. That's if you spend 5 hours with your family and friends. Are some of you spending 5 hours? Don't raise your hand. Don't raise your hand. Don't raise your hand. Work 40 hours a week. That's 8 hours a day, right? Working out. I know we got some buff people on here. So maybe Russin, right? Russin probably do this. But I'm gonna slap myself. I know it ain't me. I'm gonna just put myself out there. I know it ain't me. But how many of you working out an hour a day? It's for 7 days a week. You're working out an hour a day consistently. Okay, some of you, Ms. Jessica, great, good job. Great job. But I know you guys are faith people. You're worshipers, you're prayer warriors. You're praying every day an hour at least minimum. You're going to church or your worship, wherever you worship, your place of worship, for 4 hours on Sunday or whenever the days, or maybe you do 2 times a week. That's 11 hours a week. You're praying for 1 hour a day. Your reading time, you even fit in reading. That's 30 minutes of reading time a day. So that's about 3 hours a week, 3.5. Now let's talk about ACN. ACN PBZs, they only take, let's just say you're doing 3 a week. Well, that's, can we all agree a PBZ is only 30 minutes to an hour if you start signing people up, but you guys know it could be a lot shorter. Well, if you do three PBZs, that's minimum 3 hours right there. Let's talk about this dreaded training nobody wants to talk about on Tuesday nights. Basic training, 1.5 hours. Let's give it a 1.5 hours of one hour a week, 1.5 hour a week. Let's talk about the leadership we're on right now. That's a 1 hour a week. Customer acquisition training, or not training, I'm sorry, getting customers. Remember we talked about activity versus productivity? What I'm saying on customer acquisition is that you're actually spending 2 hours actually putting in customers. I know that's not me. I'm gonna just put myself out there. Not you guys, y'all the A students. Making calls and just inviting people. We're saying spending 2 hours a week doing that, which we all know the script only takes about 2 to 5 minutes max. I mean, you could dial a number pretty quick. So you probably ain't spending that, but let's just say you did. And you did 2 hours a week. You know how many hours this is? Anybody want to guess?
6.5. 5.5.
No, hours a week. How many hours a week you're spending? That's 161 hours. So that means you still have 7 hours a week to do whatever it is you want to do. I'm going to leave that up there for everybody. Because God bless you if you are spending 5 hours with your family and your kids every week. I mean, sorry, every day, not every week, every day, spending that much time with your family. God bless you if you're working out every day and you're praying an hour a day and you're reading and you're doing a PBZ and in the cracks and crevices of your schedule and you're sleeping 8 hours a day. Yeah. That's how I felt. Again, these are things that I told myself. Because can I be transparent with y'all? Because I don't want to put nobody on the spot. I haven't been praying 1 hour a day. I haven't been reading my Bible 1 hour or 30 minutes a day. I skip days sometimes. I'm just being honest with you. Is it okay? As a believer, this is what I do. I don't want to sit here and put on a facade. I've been slacking. My church service is only 2 hours. I haven't even spent 5 hours with my family every day. And I don't work 40 hours a week. I just do ACN and other little things here and there, but I'm just being 100 with you guys. So what are you doing with your 168 hours?
Got a rhetorical question?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I'll be transparent. It's not enough time to work on, not enough time on ACN.
Let's change that statement. That's a great statement, Jess. Let's change the statement of not enough time working on ACN to not enough time contributed to accomplishing my why. See, I think ACN feels like it's just a thing for some of us. See, ACN could be that thing that gets you more time with your family, your travel, this and these things, okay? And I think that may be the issue. If you truly don't believe ACN can do that for you. But my question for everybody is, if you knew how to do it, why hasn't it been done? Is there something else that you can do that can get you time freedom, money freedom? Then why not do it? If you can find it. I hope this is making sense to everybody, because again, I'm not telling you something I didn't tell myself. 100%. And this helps me to be a better leader for you guys, to serve you guys better, because I realize, what am I doing with my time? If I'm not doing all these things that, you know, are the foundations of life, what am I doing? I'm wasting time. Scrolling on social media, TikTok, Instagram, spending a lot of time talking and just going through the motions, sleeping, not even sleeping 8 hours. I don't even sleep 8 hours. Does anybody here sleep 8 hours by show? I don't even sleep. I don't, Miss Christina, God bless you. Man, that's good because I probably sleep about 4.
3.
3, Miss Joy. Yeah. God bless you. I need to start sleeping more, but praise God.
Yeah.
Now,
Can I say a little something?
absolutely. And then I'm gonna wrap up
You
because I
got
want to make sure.
this got me thinking, what am I doing with my time? I'm retired. I'm live by myself. My family, they have their own life. So what am I doing? Why am not? This got me thinking, really, what the heck am I doing? Why I'm not
Amen.
there where I want to be?
Amen.
I'm trying to think, what am I doing every day? So, from the time I wake up, I gotta sit down and figure this out because it's
Yeah.
not adding up.
And that's what I said to myself, Miss Joy. That's what I said to myself. It's not adding up. That's what I said to myself. Because everybody remember this chart. Some of you do, some of you don't. But I remember saying this over myself when they used to show this at leaderships. I used to be like, I got all this time. Where's the time to build my dream, to pursue my dream, to do my God-given talent, to pursue his purpose, to minister to people, which is the reason why, number one, I got involved with this, was because I wanted more time freedom to do that. So why am I not focused? Go ahead, Mr. Darrell. You had something real quick?
No, I just want to actually piggyback. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. No, it's true. Something that I know I only spoke maybe to Rustin and JT about this, but it's so true that even if you have to I do this myself. I'm not telling everyone here to do this, but literally asking yourself, this task, what is this task going to get me? I ask myself that over time because they know a few things that are happening to me. Like I have to be in 2 different medical centers today. And then at the same time with 2 cases I have for something, I happen to a family member of mine. But regardless of whatever weight of value that will take out of my time, I will actually ask myself, how much time does it honestly take to accomplish it? And then I'll actually put that into a Google Calendar, or even if I have to write it down, like in this training, I have everything, all my notes like right here, while also managing my 2 other entities. So blocking that off, you'd be surprised how much time you really do have, but it also gives you a healthy perspective to give yourself that grace. So that way you can accomplish the dreams and goals and your reason why. So.
Absolutely. No, thank you, Darrell. Thank you again for your input. And by the way, thank you all for your input because this is a conversation. This is not for me to, this is a conversation, guys. This is something I'm sharing with you guys. I'm sharing my heart with you so you can understand how to make yourself better. That's what iron sharpens iron. That's how we get better, is that we share with each other and we look in the mirror and say, what am I doing? And these are the things I wouldn't tell I wouldn't tell you guys if I didn't tell myself first. Last thing I'm going to share before we open it up and close out. How coachable are you? You don't have to say that out loud, but how coachable are you? How coachable are you to your why, to your system, to what you're trying to accomplish? How coachable are you? What would you rate yourself 1 out of 10? That's very key. To your mentors, because the truth is, some people, how we were talking about, man, I wish I didn't, my mentor at the time didn't tell me this. And, my mentor said this, and maybe he didn't tell me this about hours. You know what I said in my mind? I said that, but then I thought about how many times they probably said it on training and how many times my mentor probably said something and I just didn't pay attention because I wasn't coachable. Does that make sense? And that was important to me. See, some of you remember this chart. And I want us to end on this, with this chart. It's effort versus time. Who here remember seeing this? Does anybody remember seeing this back in the day? No? Well, this is based on this is a chart based on your effort. Miss Charlene remembers this. Based on your effort and the time over time in ACN, what happens? So you can see here as a CQ, you're putting in a lot of effort for a little bit of money, right? I love that. Executive team leader, when you're an executive team leader, you're putting in, a little bit less effort, but you're making a little bit more money. Okay. Over time, this happens. When you're a regional coordinator, you're putting in some effort, but the effort you put in still generates that money, more money than the ETL. When you're a regional director, I honestly believe this is when ACN starts, in all honesty opinion. Regional director is when ACN compensation really, takes off, because at regional director, the effort you put in is you get the money that at regional director. At regional vice president, you're putting in some effort, and I know it kind of looks weird because you're like, well, JT, you got all these duties. Yeah, but at regional vice president, the game slows down. Those things you can do, without even thinking about it, to be honest. And you make a lot more money with less effort. And then when you're a senior vice president like Mike Mazer, Pat Mazer, traveling and doing all these things, some of you know RVPs, or some of you know SVPs that you haven't even seen, right, Kush? You could probably name one that I know that we haven't seen in I don't know how long. But yeah, they just got money coming in, right? They got money coming in without even doing much or nothing, really. They're like, I can't believe ACN paid me this much for doing so less. So understand that, it's going to take some effort, but over time, that effort starts to waver out to where you're going to get paid on things you didn't even know you could get paid for with the lack of effort. And this is the beauty of ACN. This is the leverage that you get in ACN when it's built. So, guys, in Houston, we do have an event. I have a special announcement for people who are in Houston. I know some of you are all over the place. In Houston, this is the event we have. But today I want to announce that in Houston, we have a very special guest. Mr. Mike Mazer, Senior Vice President, will also be at this event in Houston. So I'm excited about that. He just told us, by the way, just today. So promote for this Houston event. And obviously, moving forward, we all know March 9th and 10th. This is the Elevate event, Dallas, the first one of this year, the first North America event, right, for Canada and United States. So again, this is the event that they're gonna really pull back the curtain and show us exactly what is about to happen with North America and Canada, and how I got a feeling a lot of people are gonna cry when you hear all the stuff they're gonna announce at this event. So definitely register for that event, guys. But I just want to open it up, as we got about 10 minutes, but I want to open it up to everyone, for all of you. Really quickly, was this helpful for everybody? I just want to, I like spending time doing things that make sense. I don't like just wasting time. You guys know that. So I pray that this was helpful. Thank you, Kush.
It really is.
Hey, JT.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Go ahead, Miss
JT, can you hear me? It's Christina.
Yeah, I can hear you.
That to say that it was helpful is an understatement, because I'm a visual learner, and
I know this.
I need to see things. And sometimes I need to see it over and over and over and over and over and over again for them to just stick in my brain, because I process things so slowly. So this was so valuable. So I pray that this will change my game, if you know what I'm talking about. So thank you very much for taking the time, because your passion and your dedication is it's evident with the work that you put into this team. So thank you very much.
Amen. No, thank you. Glory to God. I want to give all glory to God and all the honor. Stayed up till 3 o'clock in the morning doing this just to make sure I did it right and that it flowed okay, so everybody could understand, really truly grasp what we're doing here. And so thank you, Christina. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, this was really impactful for me because certainly showing what the duties of each position is, and I can see, okay, as an ETL, am I doing what I need to do? Truth is, no, I've not been doing it consistently. Secondly, how are we spending the 168 hours? Again, not using it productively in the manner that I want to spend it. And then finally, the time versus effort matrix. Okay, yeah. I've been doing this way too long. It'll be 12 years in October, November. I'm still in ETL. So what that tells me is I need to ramp up my effort to a point where I can make use of those 168 hours and speed up the process towards SVP.
Yeah, no, brother. And a wise person told me a long time ago, we all know that when you get a degree, it doesn't say the time limit, right? When you get a college degree, or it doesn't say, well, it took this person 13 years to get a 4-year degree. It doesn't say that, right? It just says congratulations. And I want to be the one to help congratulate you when you hit senior vice president.
God bless you. Thank you, sir. Wow, you just hit me. You just hit me real deep right now. Thank you. Appreciate you.
You're welcome, brother. And I won't bring up the time. No need to.
Yeah.
You did it. And that's the key. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Anybody else want to share?
Who's that? Go ahead, Faustina.
Okay, I just want to say real quick. I think with me, I have a love-hate relationship with my phone. I think it's preventing me from being present. Like sometimes I can even be at work. What I do, I've done it so long that I'm doing it, but I still have something playing on my phone, and I think it just steals from the productivity. I can go home, maybe, okay, I'm going upstairs to go fold laundry. And I'm like, oh, let me look at something on my phone real quick. Before I know, 30 minutes, 1 hour is gone, and I'm just looking at reels. I'm like, what am I doing? There are days when I wish I could just throw this phone away, but then I need it also. I'm like, God, deliver me. I need deliverance. Yes.
Can I say
because
something?
It's stealing from everything. Yes.
Yeah.
Can I say something, Faustina?
Yes, sir.
I can't throw my phone away permanently, but I can throw it away temporarily. I'm looking for occasions when I can leave my phone someplace else or in another room. When I go to church, I leave my phone at home. Certain social occasions, I always may have a pencil and paper. I might meet somebody. I always have business cards. Yeah. I'm looking for occasions when I can leave my phone alone because I know how I get. I don't know how I get.
Yeah.
If I look for those occasions, I can find it.
Yeah. I have done where at work, I just shut off my phone, like physically power it off for like a couple of hours. And I'm so productive during those hours.
Yep.
So it's just, somebody said that's the 666. I don't know.
Well, you know what's interesting? I saw a meme the other day, and I thought this was funny. And you'll get a kick out of this, Miss Faustina, but I thought this was kind of funny.
What you say? The strength of my prayer life.
Damn.
It's just
No
crazy.
problem, kiddo.
So
All right,
true.
break this phone. Break that phone.
Mhm.
Crack that screen.
That's funny because I know Raina would contest that I always crack my phone. So
Oh
it's
man.
fine.
Or is it you cracking the phone? Interesting. No, and I get it. Trust me, this thing is, and isn't it something? And that's why I always talk about, the evolvance of technology. And again, I won't get into the thing about this on the theological scale, but I will say that, isn't it interesting how we have so much, things are faster now, right? We get more info. We should be able to have more time with our 168 hours with all the technology and things that we can get fast. Isn't it something that we've gotten ourselves more busier? Isn't that weird? Which is why I don't use that word, but I always thought about that, but anyway, Ms. Joy, you had something before we go?
I just want to share something about the time.
Yeah.
Thank you for putting this all out today, because I have a realization, an aha moment on this thing. But this weekend proved me that thing, I scheduled everything. After our talk, I scheduled everything that I had to do this weekend. But then my son said, "Ma, can you babysit this whole weekend? We're going somewhere." No. But then I don't say no to my grandkids, no. So I said, okay. I put down my schedules and I said, I'm scheduled. And then they came, and I gave my granddaughter always play with my phone. So I said, good, you can take my phone. Right now it's not working right, so I have to figure that out what she did. But my production was different.
Yeah.
I had a PBC, and yes, he is very interested in his. I booked a lot of PBCs without the phone. I went on social media. That's where I contacted them. And I scheduled like 3 or 4 this week. This week. That's why I said, what is it with this? I have no idea. I have to figure this out. I had results when I really didn't intend to work, but it's a result of what I already did, I guess, the last 2 days. Thursday, after our talk, Thursday and Friday, you said do this and do this, and I did. That's why I like to have mentor. It gives me what a purpose and how you do it, like direction.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
and direction is key.
I just want to share that
Yeah.
it worked out, even if I didn't intend to.
Yeah.
It worked out for me. So I don't know about this. I still have to figure out that 168 hours and what am I doing with it.
Well,
Okay.
and I think that's all of us. And thank you, Ms. Joy. And, and I, number one, I just want to appreciate all of you right now. I want to thank you for taking your time and, listening, and definitely, I hope this was very impactful for you. I never forget this scripture, talking about sleep. I always go back to this, Psalm 127, unless the Lord builds the house, those who built it labor in vain. Unless the Lord watches over the city, the watchman stays awake in vain. It is in vain that you rise up early, go to bed late. I'm paraphrasing. Eating the bread of anxious work ethic, toil, when he gives to his beloved when they sleep. So, Ms. Joy, you reminded me of that, because even though you had things to do, you had other things, guess what? Lord still blessed you. So the right actions at the right time, right? Taking the right action. Remember, activity versus productivity. If you spend more time on the productivity, you will get more things going, okay? Even if you don't spend but 5 hours a week, So again, I appreciate all of you guys. I thank you. Again, this is recorded, so I'm going to send it. Anybody, if this is helpful, I'll send it to all of you. That way you can have it. and you can kind of rewind and, take some notes and stuff on your own time. But again, thank you guys so much for all you do. Go be a light and shine bright. Go encourage. Go talk to people. See where your hours, where you're missing your hours, like Miss Joy talked about. Where are those hours going? What are you paying attention to? And and again, ACN, I would stop using the word me working ACN, or what am I not doing for ACN? What am I doing to accomplish my why? Should be the language. Okay. So I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you so much for all you do. And let's go out and be great. Okay. Have a good week, everybody. God bless you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you, guys.